The second part, purification. Be a good son, just brother, spouse tender, and good father. You will be surprised by this sutra, but it is of immense value. Be a good son, and a just brother, and a spouse tender, and a good father. You will think what it has to do with his spirituality. It has to do much. You have to create a peaceful surrounding. Only then you can fall into meditation. You have to create an atmosphere, an energy field. Only then you can go inwards. In Gurdjieff's school in Fontainebleau, it was written on the gate, if you have not settled your accounts with your father, go back. First settle your accounts with your father, then come. Unless you respect your father, there is no possibility of your growing. It's strange. Why? What it has to do with the search? And from another corner, there is psychoanalysis which says, settle your accounts with your mother. Unless that is settled, you will never feel settled. You will remain tense. The whole psychoanalytic work is how to close accounts between you and your mother. Gracefully, lovingly. Pythagoras seems to be the first to say it exactly, simply. Be a good son. What does it mean to be a good son? Does it mean to be a slave, utterly obedient? If you are a slave, you are not a good son. If you are utterly obedient, you are a hypocrite. Then what does it mean to be a good son? If you ask people, they will say good son means do whatsoever your father says. It is not that simple. Because you can do it from the outside and you can resist it from the inside. That's what children have to do. They are helpless. Whatsoever the parents say, they have to do it willingly, unwillingly, reluctantly. They have to do it. That creates a split in them. They become two. They start becoming false, phony. So one way is ordinarily thought that just be obedient to the father and you are a good son. That is not the meaning of Pythagoras. Then does he mean rebel against the father? Go against him? Do just the opposite whatsoever he says? Be a hippie or ippie or something. If he says have short hairs, then have long hairs. If he says take a bath every day, then forget all about taking bath for years. If he says cleanliness is next to God, then be dirty and claim that dirtiness is next to God. No, that too is not the meaning of being a good son. In fact, The second thing has happened in the world because the first has persisted too long. Too much enforced obedience has created reaction. Then who is a good son? A good son is one who is alert, understanding, respectful, who listens to the father because the father knows much. He has lived. He has experienced life. He has more experience. He listens to the father. He tries to understand the father. He is open. He is not in a hurry either to obey or to disobey. A good son is one who is ready to listen, to understand, to learn. And then, if you feel that you agree with the father, do it. If you feel you don't agree with the father, then say it. There is no question of reaction. Just make it plain that you don't agree. You will do, but it will be done with forced effort. It will make you phony. If the father wants, you will do it, but it will make you phony. It will make you split, schizophrenic. It will divide you. A good communion is needed between the father and the son, because the father represents the past and the son represents the future. A bridge is needed. And it cannot be one-sided. So it is not only for the son to be a good son, the final thing is to be a good father too. He is creating a family atmosphere in which meditation can grow easily. A good son is one who is alert, ready to obey the father when he feels he is right, ready to say to the father that I am not willing to do it. It will be false, it will be phony. And ready to go with the father if he cannot decide on his own. Because there may be things which you cannot feel either right or wrong. Then follow the father. He knows better. And the father simply represents the past. The father simply represents all father figures. All those who are elder than you, older than you. The father is simply a symbol of all those who have lived more than you, experienced more than you. The teachers, the elders. A great respect is needed. Respect for their life, respect for their experience. There is no need to become a slave, and there is no need to react against them. Understanding is needed, neither obedience nor reaction. And out of understanding, if obedience comes, it is beautiful. And out of understanding, if sometimes rebellion comes, it is beautiful. But it has to come out of understanding, not out of reaction. There are people who will not do a certain thing because their father says to do it. How can they do it? Just because the father is saying they cannot do it, they will do the opposite. Their egos are in conflict. And there are people who know that it is wrong, but they will do it because the father says. Both are wrong. The good son is one who listens to the father, to all father figures. tries to understand with great respect, with openness, with no conclusions, and then whatsoever decision arises in his being, to follow or not to follow, he goes with it. It is neither reaction nor obedience. It is simply acting out of understanding. Be a just brother with all those who are of your age. Be just. Don't be unfair. Don't exploit. Because if you exploit, you create a tension around yourself. Create friendship around yourself. Because growth will be easier in a friendly atmosphere. Espouse tender. With your wife, with your husband, be tender. Be soft. Because love has the other side of hate in it. And unless you understand what it means to be tender, soft, loving, there is every possibility love will bring great hate in you. People love the same person, and the same person they hate. And that hate destroys all love, poisons all possibilities of love. And love is a great phenomenon. The person who has missed love will never know what prayer is, will never be able to pray. It is only love's experience that prepares you to pray. Be a spouse tender. Be a spouse tender. Love the woman or the man with great tenderness, grace that has disappeared from the world. People's relationship has become very ungraceful. They have lost the whole language of tenderness. Their love life is so full of hate and anger and rage that may be one of the causes why God has become dead in this century. Love has disappeared, prayer cannot arise. Love is the flower, prayer is the fragrance. If the flower is not there, then there cannot be any fragrance. And good father. And in your own turn, circle is complete. Be a good father. What does it mean to be a good father? Don't enforce anything on your child. Give your love. Give your understanding. But always make it clear that the choice is the child's. If he wants to follow it, he can follow. But he is following his choice. If he wants not to follow, he is free not to follow. Again, he is following his choice. Make everything clear to the child. You love him. So give your experience to him, but don't enforce it. Don't command. Let him understand. Let understanding be the only law. And let him follow his understanding. Now you can understand. The father has to be just a helper. The father has not to mold the child in a certain pattern that he wants. He has not to use the child for his own ambitions. He has to love the child, make him strong, make him more alert, so that he can search his own ways in life, make him more and more independent. The good father does not cripple the child, does not force the child to depend on him. And if there is a good father, naturally the son will be good, because he will not be enforced into any slavery, and he will not have to react either. And if you have been a good son, in your own turn one day you will become a father, and you will be a good father. This is the family atmosphere, the space in which we live. This space has to be of intimacy, of love, of grace. Only then meditation will be easier, and spiritual growth will be enhanced.